That's right. Make a move. Talk about PSVR2.
It's 1 year.
It's 1 year. Happy birthday, PSVR2. Everybody, welcome to play.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. Welcome to Play PSVR2, the podcast, episode 145. We're here for the 1 year anniversary of the PSVR2, and we have the one, the only, Shafestradamus himself, on the podcast with us to celebrate and do a post-mortem on the PSVR2, see how it's going. But before I do get into that, Shafe, I'm sorry, you gotta wait a second. I gotta introduce my man, Adam. Adam, how you doing tonight?
Listen, here's the thing. They say 9 out of 10 people suffer from diarrhea. Well, I must be number 10 because I'm loving it. This is what I call a partner in crime. We bring Nat Brat on. She doesn't laugh at anything. I don't think she's got no soul. Shafestradamus is up here. Boom. First thing he laughs. That's what I'm talking about. You probably can't hear me clapping, but good for you, Shafe. I'm glad you're joined. Man, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. All right, Shafe. Shafe, you're here, buddy. Where you been? How you been? How are things going? What's up?
I'm just busy with life in general, as I told you before, off camera. I'm about to be grandpa again. But I did come with an important question for Adam.
Oh.
Adam, how do you know when a bad joke becomes a dad joke?
Oh, dang. When... I don't know. Your anus becomes your mouth hole.
When it becomes apparent.
Oh! Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. That is good. Wow. We need we have a rank of games. We also need a rank of jokes. As a very quick fan shout out before we hop into the gamer juices, Matt, I think he's just trolling me. But he said that he is gonna steal my joke from last week too.
The pickup line?
The Kenya. He wants to steal the Kenya joke. He's on a roll. He sees talent and he replicates it. And we all know imitation is the grandest form of flattery, right? Or did I say that right?
It's good. Adam, it wouldn't be a proper episode of Play PS2
Yeah,
podcast
right,
if you didn't mix up your metaphors. Yeah,
Forgive me. There's too many words in them. They should be short, soft as boobs. That's it. That's a good metaphor.
So basically, he takes what you do, and then he makes it good.
That's it.
Are we talking about Matty Matt? Yeah, Matty Matt does. I agree.
Yeah.
It's just funny that last week Adam was complaining about the world having too many metaphors. He can't even, I guess that makes sense. He can't even keep them straight. No, he's complaining about there not being enough metaphors. Yet he can't keep the ones he has in order.
No, it's not that there's too many. They're not unique. Gamer juice. It's a birthday. It's birthday, baby. So I'm gonna make a little thing called an orange crush. I've never had this. It's probably gonna suck big ones. So you add a little bit of bourbon, and then you go in here and you're using some triple sec, and then you got some orange juice, and then I added a little bit of slush in there. And take guesses. Is this gonna suck or is this gonna be a winner?
It's gonna be a winner. Take a sip, Adam.
Winner.
I'm a chugger.
Oh, that's not bad.
I like it. So
there, I just put the whole thing in. Is that a lot of bourbon for a cup?
I can't see. There's a lot of orange juice in there.
Yeah, the bottle looks pretty empty. More bourbon.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'll go ahead and introduce mine because it's going to take some prep. But I went to the Walmart, and it's a celebration. I got some champagne.
Could you buy something more cheap?
No, I couldn't. That's the point.
Because you spend all your money on freaking sucky games. You have the best game in the system, and you won't play it. I hate you.
Yeah, what a horrible PSVR podcast host. I spend all my money on the PSVR games rather than spending my money on some weird orange juice blended slushy BS. This is Barefoot Bubbly. I'll have you know, Adam, this is the most awarded wine brand in U.S. competitions. It costs $8 at Walmart, and yes, they carded me, and they carded my wife, and they carded my parents as well. But yeah, well, let's pop this bad boy. Pop the champagne. Does it really pop? I don't think it. I don't want to break something. All right. Maybe
You're
we'll
gonna
hit a
lose
pop.
an eye. Here it goes.
There we go.
I wasn't expecting that. I almost lost an eye. I think
Go
I had
ahead,
a
chug it. Chug it, big boy.
Yeah, I'm a chugger.
Where's your celebratory spray everywhere, man?
Yeah, I sprayed too much over this computer earlier today. I gotta clean it up. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Shafe, what's your gamer juice this evening?
My gamer juice is like my gang colors. It's neutral.
Oh,
It
dang.
is blueberry lemonade. It's quite tasty.
What's
Vodka,
neutral about it?
seltzer, and juice. I don't. The yellow can. You got me.
I mean, is it alcoholic? Is it just seltzer water? What is it?
It's vodka, seltzer, and juice.
Gotcha.
Oh.
That actually sounds delicious. Almost as delicious as this. This just really, it's not great. Moscato Spumante. Spumante? As you can tell, I'm a wine snob. We get that big nose in there.
Dude, I love when people have like the super rich people that are just so arrogant and ridiculous. They're like, and then they swirl it, and then I mean, it is hilarious watching them. It's how I am about my PSVR2 games, if I'm being honest.
Speaking of which, let's get into it. Let's get into the celebration. Adam, I put together a list here. I talked to Shafe about it. We kind of surprised you with it. So I can't wait to hear your takes. We're going to do a retrospective on the PSVR2. We're going to go through, get some letter grades and things. But first, I want to know what the top 5 games you guys have for the first year of the PSVR2. Shafe, I know you're prepared, so we're going to help Adam have some time to prepare himself. Shafe, why don't you hit us with your top 5 list? Because I think we're going to get some reactions out of you as well. Or out of Adam.
Adam, my top 5 in reverse order. 5 is Crossfire Sierra Squad. Fantastic game. Good co-op game. 4 is GT7. 3 is a new edition, Legendary Tales. It shot right up the list. Fantastic game. Number 2 is Resident Evil 8. And number 1 is Synapse.
Ooh, Synapse at numero uno.
Yes.
So okay, I noticed a lack of Resident Evil 4 on there. Is that because you haven't played it?
There's a couple reasons, and I know this is where I lose Adam. RE4 is great. It's visually just unbelievable. But I've played RE4 in VR before on Quest, albeit not as pretty, but the gameplay and mechanics were largely the same. So I felt like I've played it before.
No, it's a remake. It's like a totally different game. I can't abide by that selection.
It's on my honorable mention list.
Honorable mention. Honestly, I think that we might as well just combine Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 8 as like one game, or else this list is 50% Resident Evil. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can see you want to do that. Just Resident Evil.
I'm not doing that because you haven't played it, Alex. He just doesn't want to admit the fact. I can't stand it. I'm not gonna go off. I'm not gonna do it today. Not tonight. Not in the celebratory of the headset. I'm not doing it. But just know that I hate you, Alex. You suck.
It's all right. It took us 1 year to get to this point where we can speak honestly to each other. Adam, why don't you speak honestly to the listeners about what your top 5 PSVR2 games are?
I feel like it's got to be Resident Evil 8.
Okay.
I'll be Resident Evil 4. I'm going to jump Crossfire to number 3. It's close. Gran Turismo's up there, but I have more fun playing Crossfire. It's not technically anywhere near as good as Gran Turismo, but to me, it's more fun. So Gran Turismo is at 4, and then I'd probably put Synapse at 5. That's the thing. Like, all of these things, there's really only, in my opinion, 7 good, like, standout games. So this isn't that big of a deal. What we should be arguing is what is number 10 to 15? Because that's where I think we're going to get some arguments and some struggles.
So I just want to make it sure it's clear to everybody who's listening or watching that the reason Adam thinks that there's only 7 standout games is because there was only 7 games that he was given for free by developers.
Not true.
No, they gave him 8 games, but one of them he already had because it was like Res Infinite or something like that.
Actually, all the games that I I think I paid for. All the free ones we've got.
There's no way you paid for Crossfire when it launched. That was pretty pricey, I think.
That was pricey. It was a pricey game.
We bought it.
Yeah, so my list is very much just a mixture of yours. So to Adam's point, yeah, I don't want to say there's only 7 games or 5 games worth playing, but I do think it's a clear indicator at the top of the list, like what the best games are going to be. Mine, we'll start from the bottom. Number 5, Crossfire. Shafe, I'm actually surprised you had Crossfire at the bottom because when we played, it was like laggy. Did you rank it there based on single player?
No, it was great single player, but the multiplayer was good too. I mean, yeah, I think everything we played multiplayer, regardless of game, has had some lag. I don't know if that's the PlayStation Network or the extra pool of the VR, but like when we played Creed that one time,
that was unplayable.
Was the most janky game ever.
So I've played Crossfire. Crossfire is my number 5. I've pretty much only played it in multiplayer with Adam. Adam and I actually just beat it like last week. Really amazing game. Has its limitations, but if you go and know what you want, you're getting a quality experience there. It was pricey. It was like $40 when it came out. Kind of surprising. My number 4 is Ultra Wings 2. It's a limited game, but there's just something about the raw feeling of flying different aircrafts in VR. It's a more visceral feeling than what you get in Gran Turismo 7. I don't know why. Did I say something that Adam misconstrued as sexual?
You like to be done raw.
You like it raw, man.
I like it raw. Okay, there we go. Yeah, my my number 3 and 2. It's a close race. I got number 3, Legendary Tales. That's anybody who's played the game knows. So that I guess that's why it's not on Adam's list. Anybody who's deigned to try the game out, it's the best VR melee combat ever. I think it's safe to say. Even people on PC VR say that this is the preferred melee combat RPG. Number 2, Synapse. It's glorious. It's super hot, turned up to 11 in terms of like VR quality. And then at number 1, I have Gazzlers. So something about Gazzlers, I just can't stop playing Gazzlers.
Because you're a guzzler.
Because I'm a Gazzler. Yeah. No, number 1, obviously, Resident Evil 8. The only reason 4 is not on there is because, as Adam will attest to, I have not really played it. But 8 was just... It was up there with Half-Life Alyx in terms of a standout VR experience, and it really set the bar. Shafe, I am interested. Why did you have Synapse at number 1 and not, like, Resident Evil 8?
For me, Synapse was an experience I hadn't had anywhere else. There's been games with telekinesis before. Yeah, obviously there's been first-person shooters before. But the way it combined everything together, it was like nothing I had played. So hats off to them.
Yeah. Adam, I've already forgotten your milquetoast list. What was your number 1 there?
My number 1 is Resident Evil 8 as well.
Okay, so even though we disagree about most things in life, we agree that Resident Evil 8's probably the best.
And you would have Resident Evil 4 as number 2 if you would ever play it. You're not going to. So what? You keep wanting to grade things with the headset, and I'm ready. I'm coming in hot. In the next segment, I'm going to review Dead Hook. It's not great. So I'm ready to judge, baby. I'm ready to judge.
Spoiler alert.
All right, and that was it for episode 145 of Play PSVR2 the podcast. Thank you, that was great. We can move on. So I don't know how to best to do this. Let's just give letter grades to these different qualities. So I think we can start out and just say the headset in general, more or less the hardware. We're talking about the controllers. We're talking about the headset. How does it feel? How does it function? What is it overall? What was the letter grade that you would assign to it? We're using traditional letter grades. So A is the best, F is the worst. We'll start with you again, Shafe. What if you had to rate the PSVR2 headset? You're a guy who has many headsets, if I remember correctly. How would you grade the PSVR2 headset?
Well, I broke this down to headset and controllers as separate pieces.
Okay.
I gave a B- to the headset. The mirror on the LED screens, the lack of some kind of built-in audio or an audio volume button, and of course the cord. But the controllers I give a solid C- to.
Because you got those monkey thumbs. You keep hitting the home button.
Wait, are you joking?
No. Look at my thumbs. There's nothing weird about my thumbs. But this part of my thumb strikes the home button constantly when I don't need it to.
What
Listeners-
is your problem? Are you kidding?
Yeah,
It's
I don't want
the
anybody to be
opposite.
fooled.
I'm giving the headset an F because it's so uncomfortable. I can't wear it more than 15 minutes. The controllers, I sleep with them. They're incredible. You got that haptics and they vibrate. They're comfortable. And while you got the only thing to make them perfect, and this is something you can do at home, folks, you know the little band that you're supposed to put around your wrist? Just cut that off. Boom. Perfect.
Well, it's funny you say that because I said lack of a knuckle strap. I don't want a wristband. I want a knuckle strap. Just for security
Knuckle
measures.
strap.
So didn't the globular cluster people just release like a knuckle strap or a knuckle cushion or something like that?
If they have, I haven't seen it.
Okay, it's like a cushion that you insert and you can let go of your fingers and you can use like $30. Get it, Shafe, and tell me how it is.
The haptics are great. The tracking is great. They're kind of bulky. You know, they're a little oversized than they should be.
What are you doing here, man? Are you going down the freaking slide in the playground and you need to be thin and tight? What?
This is a byproduct of me having multiple headsets and seeing what other people do. You can do just as good smaller.
But who cares? They don't have the haptics in them, do they? So maybe you need a little more oomph.
They don't have the level of adaptive triggers. I give you that, but there's the haptic feedback.
Nowadays, Shape, I don't know if you've noticed, people are starting to, if you look at social media, go toward, I know I gotta watch it here, but the Latinas with more junk in the trunk, sometimes bigger is better, baby. So accept it, move on. It's not a big deal. It's all right.
I think we're doing different things with our controllers.
Yeah, I like how we're talking about controllers. First thing Adam goes to is
butts.
It's he said, I'm gonna watch myself, and then the very next word was racial out of his mouth.
Not from
okay. I can't agree with your I mean, that's your grade, whatever it is. And I guess we average the hardware out to a D then. If we were going to do that, you got an F and a C minus for the headset. Personally, you got more?
My headset was a B plus.
A B plus.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
You said B minus.
B minus
on the headset.
Okay, so we got a C minus for the average thereabouts, right?
No, we'll average to a C plus.
Okay. Overall, a C plus. Now, if I had to look at the headset itself, I mean, I've played with the Quest. But honestly, I'm kind of comparing this to this good old boy PSVR1 up above me, which at the time, I probably would have given this a solid B, right? I mean, it had its failings with tracking, but the visuals on the inside were pretty good. The field of view is really nice. The comfort is probably yet to be replicated. It is still the most comfortable headset you can wear, aside from maybe the big looking at the looking at the PSVR2, we have better tracking. So that's been improved, right? We have better LEDs. We have higher resolution. I think we got about the same field of view, but just the overall stability of what you're doing with your headset is good. The cord is longer, so less cord management. So all of that is bonuses when comparing it to the first generation. But then we look at the detractions, which would definitely be it's much less comfortable. I mean, I never had to do anything to make the PSVR 1 headset comfortable. PSVR 2, I have to do something to make it more comfortable. Now, I'm not really here to worry about onboard audio. Everybody's wearing a headset in some capacity. Cool. Volume button, I can understand that, but it doesn't bother me too much. So I would probably give the headset itself a B, B plus, something in that area. Looking at the controllers, that's all tracking. The haptics are incredible. They are a bit bulky, but I do like the ingenuity behind putting the tracking ring around your wrist rather than out in front of you, so that if I'm reaching around and doing things, my fingers are what's furthest out, not the circle that's going to break when I accidentally hit against the wall or the TV or something like that. But yeah, the haptics, adaptive triggers, and just the overall functionality. We got a lot of buttons on there. It feels really good. I give the controllers, I got to give them an A. I don't know anything better. So we'll probably look at an overall B for the hardware. But let's get into Adam. Adam's got his wonky head over there, and I know he's over there getting upset about the headset itself.
Yeah, you guys are you're freaking stupid. That's the problem. I agree with Alex with the headset. The reason I would give it a B and not lower, maybe a B minus, is because it has good visuals. This mirror effect, whatever the F you and that call it, stupid. How many times is that really going to come into play? I haven't even noticed it. She had to go even after hours and describe what the heck it was. I don't care. I've noticed it doesn't affect me.
I've tried to find it. I have no idea. I've played dart games and stared at blankness, and I still can't see what the mirror effect is.
I see what they're talking about now, but it's just like I only see it when the developer, the studio pops up right in the beginning of when you start a game. Who effing cares? Anyhow, it's horribly uncomfortable. The cord, still kind of sucks, so I'll maybe give it a B. Listen, you fools. The only time I even use my knuckles is when I visit Alex's mom's house. I don't need freaking knuckle guards. They're not bulky. They're fine. If anything, I like that there's a little weight to them. I'd rather have the extra oomph in the adaptive triggers. Controllers A+.
I'm going to give you a hug. You need a hug.
You need a hug, Adam.
I don't know. Watch out, I got knuckles. I got bare knuckles.
So you didn't even bring up the comfort factor. Is that not an issue for you?
That's why I said. That's why the headset would get a B, maybe a B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's, maybe it's just me in this perfectly round giant dome.
It is nice.
Comfort's never been an issue.
You are so lucky. Even with the glove
back here on my head.
If I go over 30 minutes, like I almost get a headache, and I can't. Everyone who's joined says that it's the most comfortable headset. I can't fathom what the others are. I don't know what.
The other ones are like a 3-pound weight just sitting on your nose, on the bridge of your nose.
We got to keep moving, Alex. We got a lot to cover.
All right, let's go with the library. We just talked about our top 5. Just quickly, what would you give the library, the game library for PSVR 2, what you can play on PSVR 2, give that a rating? What score would you give it? Adam, we'll start with you.
I give it a B because it's so top heavy. The first 5 games are awesome, but then middle ground, those games kind of suck. The one thing I will give it is that there aren't any trash games. There aren't any Vertigo homes. There aren't any 18 floors. There aren't any special deliveries, which I mean, I guess that should credit them some points. I don't know what to think about that, but I find the middle of the library very lackluster. Even games that I like, such as Runner, it's still like a middle of the road game, like it's so top heavy. That's why I give it a B.
Okay, all right, Shafe, how about you? What would you score it?
Well, as of recording this podcast, there were 171 titles available. So for the size of the library at a year in, I gave it an A-, but the quality I dropped to a C. You have some heavy hitters like we went over with our top 5, but then you look at other exclusives like Switchback. That's that trash that Adam didn't think was on there. And then you got followed that up with Firewall. That's more trash that you didn't think was on there. And those are from, big studios that should have known what they were doing. So for the most part, I think it's hit and miss. Yeah, there's a lot of ports from other headsets and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with it.
So overall, you're giving it a C?
Overall, I think I'd give it a C. Because when the games hit, they hit. But, after the 10 to 15 games out of 170 games.
But most of those games you shouldn't even play, though. Like Travel the Words should never even be. That shouldn't even be a game.
I do not disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
And also part of my grade is the fact that on the PlayStation Store, they seem to charge full retail price more often and longer than other stores.
Oh, because on the Quest, you're not getting
Legendary Tales for $55. I'm not doing it. You could come and say it'll come with a handy. I'm not doing it. If I can buy a 90-hour long Final Fantasy game that is incredible, a 9.5 out of 10 for the same price, I'm not doing it. That's ludicrous, and you freaking suckers are allowing it to happen. Now everyone, pretty soon, Switchback VR2 is going to be $55 because they're like, look, there's freaking idiots who actually pay that crap. Watch, Alex is about ready to be like, I give it an A minus. And
hang on, Alex. This is where I'm airing my grievance against that.
Yes, please get Adam here.
You know, you talk about you want these bigger, better games and experiences on the PSVR, but you don't want to support those devs to get those bigger, better experiences.
$40, I would buy it. 55 is too much.
You got to support the small dev like that. It's 5 people that made this incredible game. Your game Runner, that is a 3-man studio up here in Ohio. So you got to support those little guys. That way they can make something bigger.
Okay, so then I'm going to go to the local Come and Go, and I'm going to support a small business owner there. So what?
So they can still continue to operate and then make things better. Adam, you haven't played Legendary Tales. You haven't even looked at it.
I watched you play it. You streamed it.
Yeah, you barely looked at it. I was just goofing off. I had 30 minutes to kill after we finished Crossfire. The thing about Legendary Tales is that it has all the depth of a console game that you're looking for. It's a 40-hour campaign, and it has high replayability due to the variety in the character builds that you can have. Maybe the only thing lacking is like a really good story, but usually you're not playing these games for a really good story. And then when you come along to compare that to something like Final Fantasy Blurt Teen, that's going to be a 90-hour campaign that's really 60 hours of this overwrought Japanese dialogue of, we gotta save the world, but can you save the world if you're truly a hero? I mean, you're the guy who likes that game I'm not allowed to talk about, that's just all about friendship and love, and some cartoon characters show up every once in a while, inexplicably. 90 hours of Final Fantasy 15 in a flat experience, that's like watching like a B-tier movie for 90 hours. But when you're playing Legendary Tales, it's a VR experience. 5 hours in a good VR game is worth more to me, and I would expect most people in terms of an experience, than 40 hours in an equivalently good flat game. And Legendary Tales is an excellent VR game, and you get 40 hours of that experience. It's incomparable at the moment. There's no game that can deliver the level of quality that game is delivering, and 5 people made it. Yeah, you're damn right they're charging $55 for it. After having played it, if I had to turn around and they took it away from me and said, we got to reprice this, you got to pay $100 to play it again, I would definitely do it. It's some of the highest quality, best gameplay.
You can buy it for me.
I'm not going to buy it for you. You
Start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, go to GoFundMe. We're doing a special fund here for Adam to get him to play Legendary Tales.
Yeah.
And he still won't play it.
What's your grade, Alex, so we can move on?
I mean, you nailed it. It's A minus. My difference with you guys is that. So I think you guys both had good points. It's really top heavy, right? It's really top heavy. The downside is that there is like a bunch of shaft at the bottom, but you don't have to play those games. We're getting good experimentation in the middle, right? You're not seeing anything like Runner in flat games. You didn't see anything like Runner in the PSVR 1. And the games that are experimental aren't broken like they were on PSVR 1. They're not broken like they are in the App Lab on the Quest Store. So you're getting these indie developers doing new things, finding out where VR can go. And then at the top, you have AAA games. There are 5 must-play games on the PSVR 2, which is more than I could say about the PS5 1 year into its life. More than I could say about the PS4 1 year into its life. As far as a console looking at it, the exclusive value you get from the games is some of the best I've seen. And that's not to say the embarrassment of riches I have in terms of games in my library. I have no time to play all the games I want to play. It's never a question of what am I going to play next. I always have something ready to go. Moving on, Shafe Dog, what do you got for your overall letter grade for the PSVR 2?
Okay, my overall letter grade, I upped it a bit based on the recent news of possible PC games being played on PSVR. Depending on what they're working on, I raise it to a B minus because I think that looks good down the road. But at the same time, it also makes me feel like they know their library is kind of lacking overall. So access to more games is always good. So, but B minus.
Just overall headset grade, first year, B-. Okay, I know I skipped over one. We were going to do future of the headset. We're going to lump that in here for the last one. So sorry if you had something written out. But yeah, I think B-. Okay, Adam, what would you rate the first year of PSVR 2 overall?
Funny, because I'm downgrading it based on the news that it's going to PC. I had it probably at a B+, A-. Now I agree with you. Actually, it's a B-. If I wanted PC VR, you know what? I would have bought a effing PC VR. Again, the issue with the PSVR 2, in my opinion, is all these games. The reason in the middle those games suck is because these freaking people are trying to make it for both Quests and the PSVR. And I don't know if Valve is even still a thing. They're trying to make it for all these headsets. Pretty soon we're going to have the Apple Vision Pro. They're trying to lump one game into all of those. No, those are why those suck. I want something that is based on the technology of the PSVR 2. And I feel like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if it goes to PC, that'll happen magically. I don't know. But I don't see it. And now it's lost its luster. I don't have anything unique anymore. I don't want these freaking nerds having it. If Legendary Tales is so great, you'd buy a PS5, which almost everyone already has, and then you'd buy a PSVR 2 if it's so great. But where is it? It's nowhere.
You don't think the potential of a Steam Link option is something amazing?
I care less, personally.
You've not seen some of the UE VR mods out there?
Returnal in VR, Sackboy in VR. You don't care?
There's doing some amazing stuff out there. That could only be good things.
I want Astrobot, and I want it made by Sony. I want the pros to do it. I don't. I mean, you're right. Maybe some of it would be cool if I could play Power World in VR, like J Devil or who was it? Someone told me they could. But I'm probably not going to do that. Like, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care.
So Adam, the reason you're upset about the PC VR compatibility, let's just get my score out of the way. I'm giving it an A, right? We got Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 8, Gran Turismo 7, Synapse all in the same year? Sweet Jesus, that's a hell of a launch. A hell of a first year for a console.
But there's nothing else. That's the problem.
Yeah, there is. Legendary Tales. You got the ports of like Res Infinite and Tetris Effect, if those are your bag. You got great games. You got big surprises like Garden of the Sea. You got great multiplayer Pavlov. Walkabout Mini Golf.
Evil Quest. I want something that only the PSVR 2 has.
You can't play Resident Evil on Quest. The RE4 remake is a different game than RE4 on Quest. It's a different game. Although the coat of paint might look a little bit similar, it's a different game, and it's a different experience, and it's worth venturing into. Not to mention, that came out at $30. My God. Two of the best games ever in VR came out at half the price that they originally launched at. We got them both in the first year of the console.
That's why I'm not buying Legendary Tales. If Resident Evil comes out at 30, you have no right.
Well, Resident Evil technically came out at 60, but I see what you're saying, Adam. Adam, your issue with the PC VR compatibility is that now you don't have something special. Think about the reason Sony has this quote-unquote lackluster library is that it costs a lot of money to make games. Developers have to spend a lot of money to make these games for PSVR 2, and then they have this install base of maybe, I don't know, 600,000, hopefully 1 million here soon, users that could potentially buy the game, and then you got the 20% of people like you who are going to scoff if it's priced at a reasonable price so they can actually make their money back. Now, if they could put in only 10 or 20% of that effort and tap into the PC VR market, then you're going to have people developing for the PlayStation VR 2 first, expecting people to play it on PC VR. It's also going to have the advanced PSVR 2 technology with the haptics and the eye-tracked foveated rendering, things like that, because they can expect that if somebody has this headset, they can play it on PC too. We can co-opt that technology and make it available. You're going to get more games because you're going to put in 1.2 times the effort, and you're going to get 2 or 3 times the potential audience to buy those games. That's why it's a benefit. That's also why we're giving this damn headset an A overall for the first year. It's a hell of a headset. I hate the naysayers. I don't get you guys. I have too many games to play, and I'm having too much fun. I don't even look at flat games. I played a lot of flat games this year, too. I don't care about flat games. So, yeah, it's just bad logic all around from the both of you. From the both of you.
Argue
How
that
dare you?
Sony has realized that they invested in something they can't get their money back. So to make any money at all, They're like, let's take it to PC and hope that works. And this is them exiting the space, trying to just save face, make the best of a bad situation. They can't even come out. Their flagship person, Astrobot, their game. They won't make a sequel. They won't do it.
It's almost guaranteed that they're making an Astrobot sequel. And if Sony was in dire straits they really needed to save the PSVR 2, they'd announce that bad boy tomorrow. My assumption is PSVR 2 is sitting at a stable sell rate, probably not as good as everybody'd hope, right? Everybody wants it to sell more. But it's not also failing the way people are expecting it to. It had a very, very strong launch, especially compared to PSVR 1. And if they needed to launch Astrobot or announce Astrobot or get people buying headsets, they would announce Astrobot tomorrow. But this PC VR compatibility is a cheap and easy Band-Aid they can put over the PSVR 2 library. It's going to take them minimal effort to get it implemented, and it's going to expand the library.
Right, now we're going to have all those crap games that we didn't have from the PS5.
Crap games like Half-Life Alyx.
You just said you wouldn't have to play the crap games. You could still weed them out and not play them.
Yeah, you can also just not... Adam, no, hold on. I know how we can sell Adam on this. Adam, you can log into Pornhub on your PSVR 2 if it's plugged into PC.
If it's not Little Star, I ain't watching.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Shay, for joining us for this retrospective. We got a couple minutes here left. Anything you want to go out with? Any last words you want to have?
I mean, all I can really add to the end is Blamoo!
Welcome back to segment 2 of Play PSVR 2, the podcast, episode 145, the anniversary edition. That's right, we put a ring on it 1 year ago, and now we're back to talk about it even more. We're gonna keep going with it, all right? Don't worry, guys. We're gonna keep playing this PSVR 2, and if you need to know the proof why, Adam, I have poor judgment now. I just bodied that full bottle of champagne, so everything I say now is pure honesty. We're gonna keep this train rolling. But Adam, we got some fan shoutouts we got to discuss. You want to bring us in with those?
Listen, here's the thing. You know I love Matty Matt. I already said he's stealing the Kenya pickup line. Feel free to use it, brother. Feel free to use it. Now, Nat on YouTube said, she commented, thanks for having me on the show, but you guys haven't sent me your list. Remember, we recommended a list of PSVR 2 games that she should play. Well, we don't look at YouTube every single day, okay? So Corporate Zombie answered, and she gave him the list. And then after he did, J-Brat was like, look, Zombie's showing up more helpful than the PSVR kings themselves. Here's the thing. It's easy to be helpful when you are on the Apple Big Mac Vision Pro. He is both listening and watching the podcast while simultaneously on a separate screen making comments. It's hard to compete with that when we don't have one.
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that. For those who don't know, look up Corporate Zombie's channel. You can see him in our comments. You can go to his channel. He has a review of the Apple, the Big Mac Vision Pro. I love it. That's some of my favorite YouTube content I've seen in a long time. It's so funny. Also, Nat, J-Brat, listen, guys, have we not given you enough? Every week we give you one of these absolute gems of a podcast. If you're having a bad week, you know that come Monday, you're getting hit with one of these absolute bangers right in the ears or right in the eyes of sweet, sweet Play PSVR 2 content. We can't do much more for you if you can't enjoy that yourself.
I'm not going to buy Legendary Tales for you, too.
Yeah, he's only going to do it for me.
I'm sorry, dude. I know. I'm sure it's good. Everyone talks good about it. It's $55 is just ludicrous.
At what price point would you buy it?
$35. I pull the trigger.
So I'm not going to say I'm going to do this, but if I just sent you $20 in Venmo, would you then buy the game? His pride won't let him capitulate.
I mean, I guess I would have to because I just said. Now, but the issue is this week I'm playing Survivor Man. This week Final Fantasy VII comes out, and once it comes out, I'm screwed. Now, unlike you, I finish games, and once I start a game, it's almost like I don't know if it's OCD. I don't know what it is, but when I start something, I have to finish it, and I have to finish fast. Ask your mom. So it's not like I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy VII for a month. I'm probably going to beat it in like 2 weeks because I won't be able to stop until I finish it. So then at that point, my thought is if you and Shafe and all these freaking people on Reddit are still playing it and you still think it's good after that time, then I'll consider buying it. But I don't want this to be, what was that game?
After the Fall.
After the Fall. I always get mixed up between Until We Fall or After the Fall, where I buy it, we play one time, and then we never play again. And the game's not good enough for me to play by myself.
So this is the opposite problem. Legendary Tales is we're going to have the issue of you'll buy it, we'll play it one time, but it's so good you'll keep playing it by yourself. Your character will be a higher level than my character, and it won't be worth us playing together to go through the campaign together. But that being said, whenever you buy the game at some point, I will gladly start a new character and play with you. So it's really a great game.
You're going to have like a month on me. So even though I may play more in the short term, surely it's going to take me a while to get up to your character.
No, I'll start a new character when you do. I already have like 2 or 3 different character builds that I want to do. In the game, you can be like a 2-handed strength build. You can be like a dexterity build using bow and arrows. You can be a magic build using spells. You can be a combination of those if you want to. But what I want to try,
collector, so I can afford the game.
You can collect a lot of stuff and sell it and make money. Yeah, you could totally do that.
All right, then maybe I'll do it. See, that's the other thing. Let's go Resident Evil. Let's go Final Fantasy. Let's go the Callisto Protocol. Let's go any other game. I could buy it physically, play the game, and then I sell it. I played that game for $10. And sometimes I break even after playing it, depending on the game. This, because it's only digital, boom, $60 immediately gone. No way I'm going to get it back. It doesn't make financial sense. Do you know each week I spend $30 on groceries? Instead of eating for 2 whole weeks, I'm playing Legendary Tales. That's nuts.
How do you only spend $30 on groceries per week? What do you buy?
I don't have a family, so that's the first.
I guess that's true, but still $30. I spend that much in one trip to Taco Bell.
Dude, I go to Aldi and I get the bare essentials. And
you're buying the 1-day expired chicken breast, right? Is that what you're doing?
No, I will say the one caveat is if it's a week, I have to buy protein powder. That stuff's like $20. So I do go over $30 there, but
for those that don't know, Adam doesn't need to be this frugal. I don't know why he's only spending $30 a week on groceries.
Because I don't need it. I don't need. Why do you need more?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's fine to be financially responsible. And from my perspective, Legendary Tales is a game that easily, if I had the time, I could put 80 hours or more into it before I got bored with it. So for $55, I'm getting a hell of a bang for the buck.
That's my other issue. Is I watched you play and it looked boring.
I will say the footage doesn't look as good as the gameplay. I watched footage before I got it, and I kind of had that frame of reference of like, what I see here looks okay, but what they're saying about how they're playing sounds better than what I'm seeing. So I expect good things out of it, and then it ended up being true. This is not a situation of overhyping, right? Like, After the Fall was a game that's really only fun because you're playing with friends. Like, it's decent shooting. The game design isn't, like, great. but it's fun to play with friends. This is something where it is like you played Skyrim. What if Skyrim's combat system was actually good instead of just like waggling around a heavy axe and delivering 1,000 points of damage or something like that? You actually have to like time your attacks and be strategic with your approach. It's really fun. It's really engaging. It's one of the most visceral VR experiences you have. But anyways, we're not here to talk about Legendary Tales, Adam. We're here to talk about Dead Hook. You have a review for us, is that right?
Well, my also other thing is, you know what would be a good idea? Developers, whoever you are, have a demo. 130-minute demo may alleviate all of this. Because
that's true. They should make a demo for Legendary Tales. I think that would be a great idea because there are people like you who think $55 is a steep price for this. If you played it, you would understand that, okay, 40 hours of this is maybe worth $55. That's not a bad idea.
Could be. And maybe this is wrong, but for me personally, I would rather risk 3 20-hour games thinking like, hey, there's no demo. It's only $20. Let's take a stab at it. Then waste $60 on one game hoping it's good, right? So a demo alleviates that. And then if it is good, boom. Just like, I mean, I could go the opposite way too. Maybe that's why they don't do it. I played Gorn on the demo, garbage, didn't buy it. So anyhow, Dead Hook is a game that also doesn't have a demo and probably, well, we'll see. Maybe it's for the better. Alex, please, not just Alex, everybody, rise for the honorable Adam. I am here to share and to answer the ultimate question. Is Dead Hook worth your money, your time, the overall investment? And I break down the argument into these evidence. So the first piece we're going to look at is that recipe is tight, but those ingredients stank. Like, here's the thing. Dead Hook has the ability, it has the recipe to be incredible. It has a tried and true method of success. Gameplay variability, short gameplay loops, replayability, good price, and a somewhat unique twist that separates it from Doom VFR, from Synapse, and other similar games. Their vision is true, and it could yield amazing results, just like grandmother's carrot cake. But the issue is they put real carrots in the cake. So every ingredient fails, dude, every one. The gameplay, I mean, does have variability, but due to the nature and the chaos of the game, you're using your guns. You don't have time, and the other methods and the other weapons aren't suitable to meet the task unless you want to get hit and ultimately lose. You can't use the spells. They really don't do much more damage, and they take more time. They're awkward to use. The sword attacks take too long. You can't even use the chainsaw that comes out of your hand. Kind of cool, but it's really awkward to use. And again, you end up getting hit. You got to rely on guns, and you have to rely on a lot of those. Short gameplay loops it's good. Synapse uses it. Really well done. These roguelike games, that's kind of how they are. Light Brigade. Sometimes you have a short run and it's fine. The issue is it's too hard. And at the end, you gain nothing. Synapse, you go into a run, say you die early, well, you could still get some tokens. You're still progressing to open up some new abilities that you can get farther into the game because you become stronger. There is nothing like that here. It's just you, and it's the 22 freaking levels you got to get through to beat it. If you die, screw you, get good, nerd, and it sucks. The unique twist, I think, is the multitude of ways that you can kill individuals. And I've already mentioned this, that you just can't really use them because there's so many enemies, you have so little health, and you're going to get hit all the time if you attempt to keep switching out of the guns. So you can rip enemies in half. You can punch them. But all you can do is use the gun, and you've got like a hook in your hand that you can move around. You got to run. You got to jump. You got a dead hook everywhere and shoot nonstop if you even want to get the level 10, let alone 22. So that eliminates the effectiveness of what makes it unique. So it's just, I'm sorry, because of all of that together, on accounts of that recipe is tight, but those ingredients stank, I do find you guilty.
This is disappointing, to say the least. I mean, you're right? Every bit of the game sounds right. We watched the trailers. You and I both watched the trailers, and we were thinking, oh, thank God they finally made Doom VFR for PSVR2. You know, a little bit different, but it's scratching that itch. My concern was that it seems like there's not much variety in the gunplay, which Doom VFR was fun. You get a rocket launcher, you get a shotgun, you get a machine gun, you get a pistol, but this has the element of like a grappling hook, which seems fun. It looks a bit flat in the footage that I watched. That grappling hook, does it feel better in practice, or is it just kind of like?
No, it's pretty bad. It will launch you a little bit, but it doesn't take you where you want to go.
So is it just like a glorified jump button?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It has the ingredients, but they just don't do any of them well. Yeah.
So the weapon variety, I mean, I know you said spells, you got chainsaws. For the guns, is there more than one type of gun? Like, what are we looking at there?
There are more guns, but some of them are useless. At some point, they become too weak, but to upgrade them costs so much money and investment. For me, I had to do 2 runs to collect money just to feel comfortable to upgrade a gun. And then once you die, that upgrade doesn't come with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean it's friggin' nuts. Yeah. And it's not like an upgrade like, oh, it has a new feature to it. It's like, oh, guess what? You do 10% more damage.
Oh, that's the worst kind of upgrade too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my knocks against Legendary Tales is some of the skill points you get are like 10% more damage. Great. I'm not gonna feel that.
Yeah, for sure. They got other like buffs too, and it's the same thing. Guess what? When you're in the air and you shoot an enemy, it does 5% more damage. Like, it's not going to help you. How often are you in the air? Like, it just, not great. We ready to move on?
Yeah, move on.
Okay, so next we've got, hey, are you cuckoo for crap? This is unprecedented, Alex. This really is. I always give 3 pieces of evidence and every verdict. Not tonight. Not today. I only need 2. And I'm so disappointed in this game. And it may be part of my fault that I went and I believed in the hype, that I watched the trailer and we were like, that looks like Doom VFR and it's going to be fast and dynamic and you're going to blow stuff up and it's going to feel good. You've got all these methods to kill enemies. And maybe I shouldn't have gotten my hopes up like that, but I did. Maybe it's just plain bad. And it's not that my hopes made me not enjoy it as much when it didn't meet the expectations, but rather it really is just bad. But I sat there as I was thinking about this game and I was like, there's got to be something I can say that's good about it, that I'm going to, really praise. I couldn't come up with anything. The first 3 levels, I will say, can be a little fun if you play the right way, because they're obviously the easiest. They give you the most freedom in being able to go a little bit Rambo and a little bit wild in your strategy. But then after that, if you want to succeed whatsoever, you can't get hit. And so you can't play wild. You can't use those other methods. It's just simply too difficult. As I mentioned, weapons are cool, but they aren't powerful enough. Some of them are awkward to use. And by that time, again, if you try to use a spell, you've already gotten hit so much, you're not going to make it to the halfway point. There, to my knowledge, isn't any save points. And then you're like, okay, well, just be smart and then use the health power-ups or the armor power-ups. Well, technically they exist, but if you're hoping for them, you're freaking screwed. Every, 10 levels, I think, it might be 5. I don't remember. Very, very few times where you get a power up, and then it doesn't heal you, gives you like 40 health, which is like nothing. I've made it to, I won't even go to, it's too difficult. And they don't give you enough power ups there. There's no strategy. You can't position yourself correctly or go in and be like, I'm going to hide and then pop people off, or I'm going to take them one at a time, or I'm going to kill them in a mass like area with a bomb or a grenade because those don't exist. You're screwed. There's no strategy. It's just complete chaos. The enemies they all kind of like look the same. The graphics aren't up to par. It's really boring. After 30 minutes, I was like sick of playing, but I had to keep pushing onward so I feel like I can accurately describe the game and review it. It's just a complete and utter disappointment. There is no reward for playing. You don't get better. You don't progress much farther. And because of that, not only in the game do you get no reward, but you yourself feel no reward for playing. When I go through Resident Evil and I make it through a section, I feel like rewarded. I'm like, that was tough, but I made it, and I feel something. Synapse. When I got through a run, or I opened up a new ability, or I killed them in a cool, unique, special way, I was like, that is rewarding. You feel none of that with this game. And so I hate to be mean, but I can't think of a single thing. The story is absolute garbage. The guns are average. I don't know what to say that's positive. And because of that, on the evidence of, are you cuckoo for crap? I do have to find you. Guilty.
Yeah, it's rough. It looks like everything we want with Doom VFR. But I totally understand what you're saying based on the trailers and stuff I've seen, that when you get into a combat situation, it becomes pure chaos. The location of the enemies, well, they teleport in, right? They don't even like come through doors.
Correct. Yeah,
They just teleport in. So it's random madness, and you're just moving. It's move around as fast as you can so they can't hit you, and you also shoot them too, which is, in some sense, to me, that's like the opposite of what I liked about Arashi, which is not a great combat game, but at least it's designed for you to like think about and then apply a strategy and then move through a level. This is the opposite. You have all these tools at your disposal, and then you have like a mess of enemies, and then yeah, you got to just kill the enemies, and they're going to be in that spot, and you shoot them or you blow them up or something like that. But it's not a strategic thinking game, which is disappointing, right? And if it doesn't feel good, you don't feel that satisfaction in the end. That's doubly disappointing. Like you said, Synapse. You either do something cool, that's rewarding, or you finish a level and you can level up a bit. You at least feel like you got something for your time. But it sounds like when you get to the end of this, even if you upgrade your weapon for 5% damage or something like that, when you die,
and you lose it.
You lose it. You got nothing else. That's frustrating. So, shoot.
And I'm playing on easy.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what hard is like. I will admit, like Doom VFR, I would argue that doesn't have strategy either, but it was like fun. It just.
Well, I think the difference is that Doom VFR doesn't feel like it has strategy, but it has level design. And everything I've seen about Dead Hook is like, it's just basically you're in a sphere, and all the enemies spawn while you're in this sphere, and you pull yourself from one end to the other so you can shoot the bad guys, then pull yourself back to the other end and shoot the bad guys again, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I guess
that's the difference.
If I said something positive, it would be that, there's a decent amount of enemies, and like some of them are invisible and they just randomly show up. Some of them shoot fire. Some of them have guns. Some of them shoot this blob of, something green that hurts you. There are bosses. And then when you finish a level, there are 2 different levels you can choose to go in. So one of them may be beat all the enemies in this time limit. The other one might be survive for a minute. So, there's variability, but again, if there's no enjoyment in that, it doesn't matter how many options they give you. It's still not going to be fun. So I think I'm ready for the final verdict. Obviously, shouldn't come to much of a surprise. based on the counts that I've laid upon us, the verdict on whether Dead Hook is worth playing, I ultimately find you not guilty. And remember, not guilty is you don't want that. That's
you don't want to be not guilty of being a good game. Yeah,
that's right.
Adam.
When I look on the list,
yeah,
I mean, it's more of a game than Epic Roller Coaster, so I feel like I gotta put it above that.
But Epic Roller Coaster is free.
It is. Cosmo Dread isn't. I was gonna put it. Oh gosh, it's gonna go above or below Cosmo Dread, and I'm torn. Cosmo Dread wasn't very good either.
How about this? How about Bad Dreams VR? Is it better than Bad Dreams VR?
I don't think so.
Ooh.
Bad Dreams VR isn't great, or I'd argue isn't even good. But this is worse than that. I'm gonna put it below I'm gonna put it below Cosmo Dread.
All right, man, that's way down there. That's what, number 45?
Yeah,
45 on the list. That's some rough stuff there.
I mean, it's bad, man. It really is, and it sucks because I miss Doom VFR. I wish that was a game they would port. I want something like that, and there just isn't, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe freaking when it goes to PCVR, someone will port it.
Doom VFR was, in hindsight, an excellent VR game, right? It was short. That's maybe the only knock I had against it. It was short. But if you had the aim controller or you played with DualShock, that was a really, really fun, tight, and enjoyable VR experience. And it seems like it should be relatively easy to replicate. So it's kind of sad that nobody's, cloned it in a B-tier version, which I hoped this was. But it seems like they tried to marry Doom VFR to Synapse, and they just kind of took the parts of both that weren't really like the fun part.
Yeah.
And then they left the fun parts out. So that's disappointing. I'll probably still play the game, but I don't want that to indicate.
I don't understand.
Just a little bit. I just don't want that to indicate that I don't agree with your assessment so far. I think you're probably pretty accurate, it sounds like, from what I've seen.
Play Resident Evil 4.
Adam, I don't play the games for my own enjoyment. This is a labor that I do for the listeners.
I can't stand you. Why? You play games you know aren't good. I told you Vertigo 2 sucked. You saw Reddit that Vertigo 2 wasn't great. What'd you do? You bought and you played Vertigo 2, and then you sent me a message. You know what? You were right. Vertigo 2 isn't good. Why?
I haven't played much of Vertigo 2, but yeah, there is something off about it compared to what we have. Adam, let's bring things back up, all right? You brought us down to the doldrums.
Dude, I hated doing it on this episode, but next time I'm going to be talking about Survivor Man, so...
yeah, we don't know how that's going to go. So
yeah, I haven't played it yet, so no thoughts, but...
Let's turn this around. It was the one-year anniversary of PSVR 2. We got a lot of news dropped very rapidly, so let's just cover that really quickly. Adam, I know you haven't played it, but it's got great reviews. The Wanderer is being completely remade for PSVR 2. It's coming out on June 27th now. We got a launch date. We got a new trailer for it. It's a time travel action game. And they announced if you bought the PSVR 1 version, you get a 20% discount on the PSVR 2 version. Thankfully, because I bought the PSVR 1 version thinking that I was going to get a free upgrade. And that didn't happen.
Get rocked.
Adam, have you seen the trailer for this game? I have to admit, it's very enticing.
I have not. I haven't seen any of the games that you're about ready to mention, and I'm
okay.
I
will say, like our boy, that guy is Will VR. He said Wanderer might have been the best game that came out that year in VR. This is a game where like you're in a situation. Like, I think the example they showed in the trailer is you're in World War II. You run out of ammo, and so they travel back in time to another time, and they grab a super soaker and they fill it with gasoline, and they travel to another era and they get like a lighter, and then they travel back to World War II, and then they turn the super soaker with gasoline into a flamethrower and then burn all the Nazis. Just kind of an interesting idea of how the gameplay mixes with the time travel element. And it also looks phenomenal. The physics engine remade. So I'm excited about that. The weird thing is they also announced The Wanderer 2 at the same time. So The Wanderer is not even out for PSVR 2. They're going ahead and announcing a sequel as well, some pirate-themed thing. Adam, does this move the needle at all for you? You excited? You don't care? What's the deal?
I don't know. The thing with the time travel stuff is that what's that one game you loved where it was the mystery and you had
Invisible Hours.
I hated that. And that's why this worries me a little bit because it seems like a mix of that. I mean, I hated that aspect. So
I think this is a bit different, but I can understand where you're coming from. This does look like about as close as we can get to a AAA VR exclusive. They basically made a really good game, and now they're repolishing it with all the stuff that they've learned to put on PSVR 2. So I'm excited about that. Adam, Arizona Sunshine.
You reminded me. I don't know if our boy will. I don't know if he continues to listen, but everyone else can keep this close to the chest here. Will, as you and I were playing Crossfire this last week, fantastic game. Will sent me a little message that said, "I'm coming for that Tetris Effect score you got or something. Like, you know, I got like of our friends, I have the highest score. So he's like, I'm coming for your scoring record." Alex, here's this. What's the first thing that you learned in bear school?
In bear school?
What
is it?
Don't wake the bear. Will, you woke the bear. And you know what happens when you wake that bear? He drops 10 million on you. A 10 mil banger. That's why I just said he came, he tried to scare me. I showed back up. Not only did I beat my original time, but I beat it by like 2 million points. So now, Will, you woke the bear. You had a lot of ground to catch up, and now you have even more ground. You got an additional 2 mil to catch up. Come at me, son. You woke the bear. Get friggin' rocked.
So for the clever listeners, we'll just note that, again, Adam has dived back into Tetris Effect VR, a game he swears he hates, but continues to play
I'm not going to let Will take that record. I'm not going to do it. I wasn't going to play it, and then he showed up, and so I had to show out.
What's also hilarious is that all of this performance by Adam is a reaction to him getting totally trounced when there was a VR competition for Tetris Effect when the demo came out. Me, Jay Brett, and Will, and Adam all were like, let's see who get the highest score when the VR demo is out. We destroyed Adam, and here he is in this one-man competition.
Did you really
trying to beat us?
Hey, I never played Tetris before. I hadn't learned. I would annihilate you now. You would get bent over. Just like Will is. Welcome, Will, to this is the record, the pain record. Sorry, Alex, I just had to mention that because, again, he woke the bear. And I certainly didn't want to say this when Shafe was on the podcast because I would have had 2 airing of grievances on me because he would have made fun of me too. What's the next game you got?
Next, you're not going to care about this, but Arizona Sunshine 2 has free DLC. They have a corgi update, so they replaced the dog that you play with in the game. A good, well-animated dog with a corgi, which honestly, it's pretty charming looking.
Can you shoot it?
No, but it attacks the zombies and stuff like that. It's your best friend in the game.
Can
really
it
good
die?
game. Huh?
Can it die?
No, it can't. I mean,
not playing it. Unrealistic.
They also added a schedule of upcoming free Horde mode maps that are coming out. I have nobody to play Horde mode with. I don't really care about Horde mode. The single player was enough for me. It's a really good game, but this doesn't do anything. I don't want to revisit it based on this. What I am excited about, Adam, and I know you're not going to care yet, Zombie Army VR was announced. Now, this is the people who made Sniper Elite VR, which you never played, but it was one of the last great hurrahs for the aim controller on PSVR 1. A very fun game, very good game. The important thing to note is that this is made by Rebellion, the people who made Battlezone. And now, I played a lot of Zombie Army 4 on Stadia. Very fun game. Very, very good, fun game. And I'm so excited to see this in VR. Do not think after the fall think of just Crossfire, but with zombies. Does that get you excited, Adam?
I mean, that would be fine. I think zombies are a little overplayed, but what if you are correct and it is like Crossfire, but with zombies instead of humans? Yeah, I would play that.
At the very least, Rebellion knows what they're doing, right? They
I
make
wish they would
Battlezone.
bring freaking Battlezone back.
Shoot, I wish I was a millionaire and I could just hand them money and say, make Battlezone 2. I don't even care if it's good. I just want another one. Little Cities Bigger VR. This was announced. It came out, or it looks like SimCity in VR. They showed the trailer. Cities Skyline isn't getting much traction. This actually looks like, I'm not a huge SimCity fan. This looks like something pretty fun to play. Would you be excited about that kind of game?
I mean, we already have this.
Well, I will say this game is out in flat mode, and people like it. And so now this is a VR version of a game that's successful in the flat mode. We do kind of have it. I mean, you haven't played Cities VR, so you don't know if it really works.
True, but I haven't heard anything about it. And that's typically not a good sign.
Well, Adam, on to the next piece of news. Cities VR has a free 1-hour demo if you have PlayStation Plus. Yeah.
Nice.
That's right. Along with that, Ghost Signal, a very good game, also has a 1-hour demo. And Broken Edge, what purports to be a very fun 1v1 multiplayer sword fighting game. I'd like to play with you, Adam. I have this game, but I want to play the demo with you and see if we have fun with it. It's supposed to be really fun sword fighting. Are you excited about seeing more demos on PS Plus?
Yeah, I don't even think they need to be hour long. Just let us get in there for 20 minutes. I think that's really for VR all it takes to know, does it feel good? Do I?
Yeah.
So I'm psyched about the cities because on one hand, that could be incredibly boring. I think just SimCity in general could be boring, just that genre of game. Or in VR, you could probably argue in flat mode, humanity isn't very engaging or is a little boring because it's just a puzzle game. But then you put it in VR, it's going to blow your nips off. Maybe this is the same thing, but am I willing to take that $35 risk? As we all know, no, I'm not. But now I'll play that hour and they may get my $35 because of that demo. And not only that, but I'll buy the next game too. So I think it really comes down to how confident are you in your game. If you think it's going to catch people's eye and it's going to be unique, you should have a demo. If you think it's dead hook, don't have a demo.
So I will say, I think Ghost Signal already had a demo. I played it. I loved it. I bought the game sight unseen, or I guess not sight unseen because I played the demo, but I bought the game immediately. Really good game. I recommend playing that. Cities VR, I probably will play the demo. I'm not interested in that kind of game, but a free demo is a free demo. And Broken Edge, I think I bought that. It's like $15. It's not an expensive game. I just wanted to see what it was like. So yeah, we can look into that. Adam, next piece of news: The Wizards Dark Times Brotherhood. One of the most complicated names in the PSVR2 space. Did you play The Wizards on PSVR1?
I think I did.
Not to be confused with A Mage's Tale, which is a very similar game.
Yeah, they came out at the same time.
Yeah, and they're the exact same kind of game.
I played both.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I think I like The Mage's Tale better. I would have to go back and listen, but
yeah, so this is like the sequel to that. It's a PC VR port, so it's got good graphics. Shadow dropped. It's out. You can buy it now, $29.99. I'll admit I bought it. The feedback immediately is that it's a bit buggy, so I might wait for a patch before I really try to play it and engage with it. But are you interested in some kind of magic, sorcery, short RPG?
Not horribly so. If one came out that was really good, I would maybe try it, but just magic's not my thing. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as good.
You're a strength man, aren't you, Adam?
You know it.
Yeah. Strength, hammers, big swords, things like that. Yeah, pikes.
I'm used to big swords. Do you have any other news?
Nope, that's it, Adam. Oh, PC VR support. We already talked about that a little bit. I will say, Adam, I want everybody to know that I'm the one that says this. PC VR support. Sony announced some semblance of PC VR support. I think it's going to be streaming flat PC games to your PSVR2 headset. That's what I think it's going to be. Just playing a normal PC game in cinematic mode on your headset. That's what I think they're announcing.
Oh, that would be horrible.
It would be horrible, but it'd be easy, and that's why I think that's what's going to happen.
That's so stupid.
I know. I'm disappointed already. I'm already upset.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
I hope
what
I'm
I
wrong
know is that, or what I know isn't wrong, is that this was a banger, a great 1 year anniversary for the PSVR 2. Thank you, Shafe, for joining us again. Listeners, you know we love you. Send a comment, send an email. You'll be on the fan shout outs. Maybe you got to beat Maddie Matt. But here's the thing. We love you. We love the PSVR 2. Contact at playpsvr.com. YouTube. We run on Spotify, iTunes, all that bull crap. Tell your auntie, tell your mom, tell Alex's mom. Thanks for listening to Play PSVR 2, the podcast, where virtual reality is our reality.